Solomon's Porch in Minneapolis, they're trying to build a church community that brings a fresh approach to Christianity. Many of the young evangelicals who worship here are bringing a fresh approach to their politics as well. They very emphatically proclaim they are not part of the religious right.
I'm one for moderation. I'm not one for going all out in one direction, left wing or right wing. I don't think that accomplishes anything.
There's, I think, so much tied up with the right wing that is corrupted and power oriented and so far from what Christ came and spoke about.
Evangelicals are the single biggest bloc of religious voters. For more than 20 years, they've largely focused on two main issues, abortion and the traditional family. And they've overwhelmingly voted Republican. But significant generational changes may be afoot, changes that could have ramifications for the American political landscape. Anna Greenberg of Greenberg Quinlan Rosner Research conducted our survey.
We found that younger evangelicals were less committed Republicans than their parents. So, for instance, while a majority were supportive of John McCain, they were less likely to support him than their parents. They were less favorable towards George Bush. They were significantly less favorable towards Sarah Palin. And of course, on a range of issues, whether it's gay marriage or global warming or even America's role in the world, they're more progressive than their parents.
Calvin College in Grand Rapids, Michigan is one of the most prominent evangelical colleges in the country. Students here tell us they're concerned about a broad spectrum of issues. 19-year-old sophomore Emily Daher is active in politics and has been working to reduce the influence of money on the electoral process. She says she does believe abortion and gay marriage are important, but they aren't the things she's focusing on this election.
There are so many issues that as a Christian I'm being called to help with as well. And I feel specifically in this election we have the war in Iraq, we have this economic situation, we have health care, we have all these issues that are really being pushed and really need help with.
Daher says she's particularly concerned about the environment. In our survey, nearly 60% of young evangelicals said that combating global warming is extremely or very important to them, and nearly 80% supported an international treaty to end global warming.
As a Christian especially, the environment's really important to me because I was put on this earth in God's creation to take care of the earth and be a steward to the earth. And if we don't take care of it, then we're just letting this beautiful, wonderful creation from the Lord go to waste.
I'm pleased to be here, happy to be here at Calvin College.
26-year-old Jonathan Merritt has been rallying young evangelicals to the environmental cause. He's the son of James Merritt, a well-known pastor and former president of the Southern Baptist Convention. The younger Merritt says he became convinced about the issue at a Baptist seminary.
I was sitting in a theology class and my professor was teaching on the revelation of God and made the statement that when we destroy God's creation, which is a form of God's revelation, it's similar to tearing a page out of the Bible. And that struck me. It was a real shift of perception for me. It really changed the way that I thought about the subject.
Merritt launched the Southern Baptist Environment and Climate Initiative, which has generated controversy among religious right leaders who fear he's abandoning their traditional causes.
You've got those who tend to hog the microphone in the religious right who are speaking in a way that is inconsistent with the way that the average American in your everyday church really believes.
Our survey found surprising generational differences on another controversial issue. 58% of young evangelicals supported some form of legal recognition for same-sex couples, either civil unions or even gay marriage. Older evangelicals remain strongly opposed. Many young people told us it's a matter of social justice.
Personally, I'm a moral conservative person, but I don't want to necessarily have my kind of conservative moral values imposed on anyone else. So I would be someone who's very much pro-civil unions, but myself, I'm a very conservative person.
Gay advocacy groups are hoping to take advantage of the opening. Soul Force Q has been on what they call the Equality Ride, crisscrossing the country in a bus, hoping to generate dialogue at Christian campuses such as Dallas Baptist University.
Here at these schools, the next generation of Christian leaders are being educated, and so we think it's really important to speak to them now, to get this idea out there in the open and to be talking about it so that they are aware of it.
Younger evangelicals may be more liberal on several issues, but they are in line with older evangelicals when it comes to abortion. Our survey found that young evangelicals are as solidly against abortion as their parents. 1/4 think abortion should be illegal under every circumstance, but they have a broader definition of the pro-life agenda. 63% of young evangelicals think that poverty, disease, and torture are also pro-life issues.
Life begins at conception. I firmly believe that. But I also believe that life doesn't end at birth. And so for me, caring for life doesn't just mean I care for the unborn. It means I care for that child after it's born.
Well, I think what's exciting is you see young evangelicals really recognizing that it's inconsistent to care about the baby in the womb, but not also about the AIDS orphan in Africa.
Alex and Brett Harris are 20 years old and attend Patrick Henry College in Virginia, a conservative Christian college where most of the students were homeschooled, just like they were. About 3 years ago, they began a movement called The Revolution, which urges young people to change the world around them.
Young people today are passionate. They see problems in the world around them, and they have compassion. And sometimes they have creative solutions. And we see throughout history, we see today, that God can use young people to do incredibly big, hard things and make a huge impact.
They do care about a wide range of issues, including global poverty and disease.
We're able, through 24-hour news cycle, through the internet, to reach out and touch these problems. The genocide in the Sudan, is right up in front of us, through the internet. These problems with AIDS orphans, with human trafficking, all of these issues are more real to us than maybe they've been to past generations.
But they disagree that this makes them political liberals.
Conservatism speaks to the environment. Conservatism speaks to AIDS orphans in Africa, and it speaks to healthcare and education, maybe issues that have traditionally been considered more liberal or Democrat issues. And I think that the understanding is issues are not political. Solutions are political.
We're here campaigning for Mike.
During the primary season, the Harris twins were big supporters of Mike Huckabee, a conservative who also talked about poverty and the environment. They were instrumental in recruiting actor Chuck Norris to the Huckabee team.
All of a sudden, I started getting emails from college kids, and especially 2 from Oregon. Did you just hear from them? Oh, yeah, the Harris twins. Yeah, and anyway, Alex and Brett emailed us and told us about Mike Huckabee.
Well, one of the things that really was so refreshing about Governor Huckabee for us was that he did bring a different tone to the campaign. As he always said, I'm a conservative, but I'm not mad at anybody about it. And we thought that was brilliant.
Now they're supporting John McCain because despite their wide array of issues, abortion is still #1 for them.
Being pro-life is not enough to qualify a candidate to be president, but it is enough to disqualify them.
At Calvin, Emily Daher says she's supporting Barack Obama because of his stance on the issues she's prioritizing: healthcare, the environment, and the war in Iraq.
I find him as a very exciting new candidate to put into the White House, and maybe we can see some positive reform in the United States political system.
The overall political implications of these generational changes are unclear. A majority of young evangelicals are still supporting John McCain, although at lower margins than their parents.
It is not the case that there are huge numbers of young evangelicals voting for Barack Obama, but it is the case that there is more ideological diversity.
And pollster Anna Greenberg says, given the size of the evangelical electorate, even small losses will pose big political changes for the Republicans.
They now win about 75% of the evangelical vote. So when the evangelical vote, say, goes down to 65 Republican, that actually makes a big difference in very close election. As these younger evangelicals get older and make up a large proportion of the electorate, I think that Republican candidates are going to have to find they're going to have to be a little broader in how they communicate with them in order to sort of keep them as part of the coalition.
For many young evangelicals, it comes down to being very specific about how they apply their faith to their politics.
Younger evangelicals, their #1 priority is living a life that is consistent with the ministry and the teachings of Jesus Christ. And if that lands them in a more liberal party or a more conservative party, that matters not. You're not seeing the emergence of an evangelical left. You are seeing the emergence of the evangelical stuck in the middle.
and that could change the face of American politics. I'm Kim Lawton reporting.